All right, everyone, welcome to the stream, guys. You're watching Rome Knows Tech, and I'm your host, Rome Wilkerson. Guys, I'm coming to you from the city of Houston, down here in the ever so hot state of Texas. I want to welcome you one and all to the stream. Yes, guys, it's been a long time coming. It's been quite some time since I have been live this early in the day, but here we are. All right, guys, so on this stream this afternoon, we are going to focus on live streaming content creation, as well as product videos, all of the things that I mentioned in the pre-roll video earlier today. So we have a number of cameras here that we're going to be taking a look at. We're going to be talking about these different cameras, as well as me showing you guys how I use these cameras on a regular basis, how I set them up, connect them to computers, connect them to different streaming devices like the Ozbot Talent, the YOLO boxes, whatever the case it may be. So let's start our stream off right. Let's go ahead and highlight the first thing in the carousel, which is going to be from Ozbot. But I'm going to give it a little bit of time for a few people to pop in here and just start hanging out, asking questions. Now, we are live this afternoon on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. We're live on Instagram as well. So if you're on one of those platforms, you will be able to comment and I should be able to see it. But if I don't respond, it's a good chance that for some reason your comments are not coming through. So you might want to either pop in over on YouTube or come over here to Amazon where you can actually see the carousel and all the different items that we're talking about. But you guys are welcome to stream from wherever you may be. Yeah, you're all welcome. You're all welcome. So let's just make sure we are live on all of those different platforms. So I'm going through here. Yes, we are live over on TikTok. We're live on Instagram. We're live on Facebook. So we are ready to rock and roll. So again, any questions whatsoever, I'm going to just kind of talk about the different products, how I use them on a daily basis, and kind of give you guys a rundown on these items. Now, the first thing listed in the carousel is the Ozbot Talent and Tail Air combo. That's going to come with 3 of these Ozbot Tail Airs, and you also get the Ozbot Talent. Let me grab it. That is this little tablet that you guys see right here. We're going to bring all these down to the desk so you guys can get a better look at these. And yes, don't worry. We will also be talking about using just your smartphone for content creation and also live streaming, all of that kind of jazz as well. So we'll definitely be talking about that. But anyway, let's go down here to the top-down view so you guys can take a look at this device. Now, the way I would use this, for the most part, if I was somebody just starting out and I didn't already have the camera situation that I have set up here in the stream, for my stream here in my studio, I would use this, guys, as a streaming device and also a recording device, because you do have 2 encoders built into this guy, which is really nice. So what I would do is I would pre-set up all of my different cameras at different camera angles, maybe a top-down view like the way you guys are seeing my desk right now, maybe a front-facing camera so that could be face forward, and also maybe an alternate angle camera so that you can switch over between different camera angles. So I'm gonna show you guys kind of how we can do that with this device really easily. So the way this works, you can connect cameras to this either with a cable. That could be an HDMI cable, it can be a USB cable. You can also connect cameras to this device wirelessly. So you can use NDI, you can use SRT, you can use RTMP. So you have a number of different ways of connecting these cameras. So we got 2 cameras so far. We're gonna have 3 in total. Now, one of these cameras does not come with the bundle, but that's okay. And we're also gonna connect some of our wired cameras to this as well. So as far as the wired cameras go from Ozbot, we have a couple of different styles. We have the Meet AI cameras, which is these little cube-like cameras that you guys see here. They come with a little magnetic base. You can also use these, mount these directly onto your monitor or whatever it is you want to use them for. Now, this is a 4K camera as well. And all of these guys, man, I'm gonna tell you guys, if you invest in anything, get yourself some of these lens cleaners, because I'm telling you, the lenses are always dusty or fingerprints on them or something like that. So definitely take care of your lens quality for your picture quality. But anyway, that's this little guy right here. Most of these, you're just going to plug a USB cable into it. You can even mount this guy right here on top of the Talent if you had this set up the right way. You know, if you were using this as your main camera, main type of, you know, recording device, that's an option. I would probably go with some type of little tripod just to give you a little bit more flexibility. I'll show you guys what one of those can look like. And you can use something similar to this, you know, for a smartphone. You guys see we have this little bracket on here. I can add a phone to this really easily. So here's my iPhone 16 Pro Max. So you guys can see I have that on here right now, and I can rotate this into a portrait orientation. So if I want to record myself or record something for Instagram or for TikTok, and you have this little tripod that is also a selfie stick, this little bracket right here is all metal, so it's going to last you a long time. You got some you have some mounting points here. You actually have some cold shoe mounts on either side, so you could add a light to this, you know, front facing light or a rear facing light or whatever the case is going to be. So let me show this to you guys a little bit closer up so you guys get an idea of what I'm talking about. So, oops, wrong one. Here we go. There we go. So as you guys can see here, this is how the camera is mounted. And as I said, it's all metal. You have those cold shoes. You have a cold shoe right here on the back. You have one on either side for lights. And you can easily rotate this, you know, to whatever orientation you need it if you're going to be using this for a phone. Now, something similar, you could use this same tripod. Let me take this mount off. And you guys see we're just left with the tripod here. And this has the 1/4-20 mount on here. So you could take one of these small cameras and you could mount that easily on here. And that could be your front facing camera if that's something you want to do. You could set this up on a desk and it's going to be ideal for that. So really simply, not a lot of work here. And because you have this selfie stick with the little tripod legs on here, you could easily, like I said, set this up on a desk, set this on a floor. Maybe you want to record something that's on a desk in front of you. This is more than long enough in some cases, you know, to be able to, you know, set it down on the floor and still have it right at about the desk level so that you can record, you know, yourself doing something and you still have both hands free. Now, again, this camera will require it to be plugged into whatever device you're going to be recording to. So if that's going to be your computer, Mac, or PC, there you go. Now, if you're using one of the other cameras that we were talking about before, like one of these tail air cameras, the advantage to that is you can actually record internally to these cameras. So you can take your micro USB-C, plug it in right here, and you can record directly into this camera and also stream it to another device. These are PTZ cameras. That means they can pan, tilt, and zoom. You have hand gestures. So if you're recording yourself and you don't have a camera person, you can, you know, put the camera in tracking mode and it'll literally follow you around. See, I just set my other camera off over there. So now it is tracking me, just to give you guys an idea what the tracking feature is like. So if you're moving around, maybe you're doing some DIY videos, maybe you're doing some cooking tutorials, the camera will follow you around for the most part, guys, which is a really, really cool feature. And almost all of these cameras have some variation of that. These little smaller ones also have the same type of technology built into them. This little guy here is the Osbot Tiny SE. We also have the Osbot Tiny 2 Lite, which is the 4K variation of variant of it. So yeah, we got a lot of cameras, guys, that we can play with and set up. Now, of course, you know, depending on your budget is going to determine which of these cameras are going to be the best solution for you. If you could only, you know, acquire one of these cameras, I would honestly say for an all-purpose camera, something like this is going to be more budget friendly because it gives you a lot of cool flexibilities. You can plug a microphone directly into this guy. You can use it to record yourself. You can use it to record something else. And of course, you can control it with your smartphone app. So there's an Osbot app that you can use to, control this, set this up, and even live stream right from the camera. Now, you will need to connect it first to your phone to set up your RTMP or set up, whatever application you want to stream to, but you'll be able to do that with this, no problem whatsoever. All right, so let's keep rolling. Let me show you guys how I would set all of this stuff up if I was going to be using this right now to either do a live stream or perhaps do a product video. Okay, so let's go back to the desktop here, and I'm going to show you guys how I have my desk set up. So most of you guys who watch me at night know that I use this same desk for my lasers and things like that, but this little section right here is normally where I would set up a product video, okay? So I would have, cameras facing in this direction. I have a light back here in the background. We'll talk about this light in a second. I use that light as a background light. We have this backdrop, as you guys can see here. This is just a black backdrop. You can also get it in green if you're going to be doing some green screening or something like that. So I have two of those right here in the studio just so you guys can check those out. So this is how I would set up the camera to get started for not live streaming or for creating some type of content. Now, there's a few things left on the desk from something I was doing yesterday, like that monitor back there, the fog machine, and I'll show you guys how I would use that as well during this type of setup. So first things first, let's answer any questions that may have come in. Let me see what's going on over here in the comments. I see Evans. Evans is in the house. Welcome, Evans. Welcome to the stream. Man, we have not seen Evans for a hot minute. Evans, where have you been, boo? It is so good to see you. Richard is going to be so disappointed that he was not here to see you. Richard is used to me going live at 7 p.m. So he probably doesn't even know that I'm live right now. He probably didn't even get the notification. But needless to say, we are live on multiple platforms, so you can find us over on YouTube, on Facebook, you can find us live on TikTok right now, and of course here on Amazon. And I may even add some more platforms as we go forward. But Evans, it is so great to see you here today. Thank you for stopping by. All right, so let's see what else we got. So let's get back to the desktop setup. I just haven't been online. Okay, I get it. A lot of people, taking a break. I get that, because it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming sometimes. All the things that happen, that we see every day online. There's a bunch of drama going on in the world. And sometimes you just want to insulate yourself from that, and just, cut everything off and just say, you know what, enough is enough for right now. If a few things sneak in, I'm cool with that. But I'm not going to go out of my way to make myself available to that type of drama every day. You don't need the negativity in your life, and I feel you. All right, let's see what's going on here. Well, thank you. All right, so let's go back over to the desktop. Let's go ahead and drop down real quick here. All right, so here is our Osbot talent. We're going to go ahead and connect this camera. This camera right now is wireless. Right now is connected to it. So let me show you guys that. I can just tap on here, and you'll see this switch over, and there I am talking on the screen. Here's this camera. So if I move the camera around, you guys can see I'm just kind of moving it by hand. This does come with a remote that also allows you to control the camera, which is this remote right here. This can control up to 3 different cameras, okay? So again, talking about how I would use this to create content or to do a live stream. This is I just freaked the camera out. It lost me there. There we go. Okay, it's back. Anyway, so what I would do here, guys, is I would use this as my monitor. So I would set that somewhere here on the desk, and I'll show you guys everything once I get it all set up over here. So we're just going to kind of go through this together. So let's switch back over to the laser camera view. All right, so here is the in-stream, I'm sorry, not the in-stream, the talent right here on the desk. So this would be right about where I would be sitting. So I would be able to see this in real time. So if I was recording from this angle, I could just kind of position this kind of where I can see it, and then have the camera set up so that I could easily switch between the different cameras as I go, okay? So first camera first, let's say I would take this camera here, and I'd want this to be my product camera. So I would mount this camera. I'm gonna show you guys how I'm doing this. I'm gonna mount this camera onto a magic arm. I'm gonna turn this in the other direction. Mount this on this magic arm. All right, so let me adjust it. All right. So let me show you guys now what that looks like. All right, so here is the talent on the desk. And then here is one of the tail airs. This would be facing in the direction of whatever product that I'm gonna be talking about. So let's just grab something and set it in there. Let's say that's gonna be the product right here that I'm gonna be talking about. So now I can set this camera based on where that product is, and you guys can see that also reflected here on the screen. And let's say that's gonna be camera angle number 1, okay? And then maybe I want to have an alternate camera angle, you know, for a different side perspective of it as well. So I can set up an additional camera. That could be a wired camera, it could be a wireless camera, and I could either control it with the remotes or I can control it by just clicking on the screen to switch over. So let's go ahead and set up one more camera for this. So let me set this camera down for a second and get this guy facing in the right direction. All right, so our next camera that we're gonna set up, let's go over here, top down first. All right, so the next camera that we're gonna set up for this setup is going to be this guy right here. So this would probably be my main camera, okay? So this camera here would be the main camera I would use. And let me just go ahead and highlight this in the carousel real quick. Now, this is the newest camera from Ozbot. This is the Ozbot Tail 2. This is also a PTZ camera, but it's a PTZ-R camera. And if you are streaming or creating content for Instagram and TikTok, this camera could be a great asset for you in the studio. So let's go ahead and power this guy on. Now, this one has easier connections for it. So on the back here, let me show you guys here. On the back, you guys can see we have our mic in, we have our line in, we have our mic in, we have our headphone, we have our line in, mic in, we have our HDMI right here as well. We also have our RS-232s. That's going to be for your PTZ controller. You have your SDI right here. You have Ethernet. You also have your USB-C for power and a USB-C UVC for connecting this perhaps to another device, okay? So this guy is on right now. Let me show you guys how I would connect this one to what's going on here. First, let me refresh a page and show you guys how I would set this up as a secondary camera or a primary camera. It just depends on how you want to use it. So we're going to take this guy over to the desk, and I'm going to position this on the desk. Let me move this camera back. So let's say this is our product, and we have this camera over here to the side, kind of looking at the product here as well from a different perspective. And then that's going to give us the ability to switch between those two cameras for a close-up, you know, detail shot or something like that. And we can do all of that from the talent, or you can do that from a computer, depending on how you're setting everything up, because you can always use OBS to do the same thing. So if I click here, you guys can see we're going to switch to that closer shot right here. I can reposition that a little bit. And now we have a close-up shot of the same product. And this is just a really simple way to set up your desk. Now, of course, you need to record your audio, so you can connect your microphones directly to the talent, or you can use, you know, microphones like I do that also record internally, or connect the microphone directly to one of these cameras and use that as your primary audio source. All right, let's put some light on over here. So we got some Blue Yeti batteries back here, so we can go ahead and switch these guys on. And yes, these are things that I use on a regular basis. So I use these batteries to power these lights that you see here. Now, I usually always have one of these batteries somewhere in the carousel because these things really come in handy. They're very travel friendly. And you guys can see the difference now that we have those lights on, how nice and illuminated everything is, even for, you know, what we're using here. But it's not so bright that it blows out this monitor, so we can still see everything that's going on with that. And we have our camera. So, all right, so now we have our setup here. I can just go here, talk about the product a little bit, you know, switch between the different scenes. Now I have a transition that is going between the scenes, but you don't have to have that. You can turn that off. You can also have, you know, pre-recorded content on one of these devices that you can play at any time. That could be a video source, it could be audio files, whatever it is that you want to be able to play, and then you can have that switch automatically back to one of your camera angles, which comes in really handy. So far we have 2 cameras connected to this, and of course we could also employ a top-down camera. We could mount that from like a magic arm from above, and then you would have an effect that looks something like this looking down on the product, and you'd be able to switch to that as well. But what makes this efficient is that while you're talking about the product, because you have your mental script, you know, in your mind that you want to talk about or whatever it is, you'll be able to easily just click on here and switch over, you know, to whatever angle you want. But another cool thing that you can do, guys, with this talent is while I'm recording the different angles, I can go in and annotate certain things on the screen, right? So I can grab this little pen and I can draw right here on the screen showing something specific that I want to draw their attention to, and they would be able to see that live in the video, which is pretty cool. And it's going to record all of those things right into the video source. So this is one way I would set up something using something like the talent, as well as, you know, the lighting for it. I have this little desk light. I have a couple of desk lights like that. And then we have some of these smaller lights here that you could use as, you know, background lights. Now, another cool thing that we can do to kind of take this to the next level, let me set this camera down and let me angle it down so you guys can see what's going on here. So normally when I would do something like this, you know, the light wouldn't be so intense. So let me turn the light down a little bit. All right, let's bring that light down. Oops, let's bring it down. There we go. So that way it wouldn't be so much light. Now, let's say I want to add a little bit of pop to the scene. That's where something like this little fog maker will come in handy. I'm just going to set that right there for a second. And let me also highlight that in the carousel so you guys can see it. But this portable fog maker, guys, you can get here on Amazon right now for I think it's $129. So let me go ahead and highlight this, guys, so you can see it. Now, what's cool about this, let's say within our scene, we want to be able to add some fog around here to add a little bit of mystery, you know, to whatever it is we're doing. All we have to do is turn this guy on. Let me power it on real quick here. So everything you need comes in the box. You're going to get the fog machine. You're going to get the different, you're going to get the tank for the fog juice. It comes with 60 milliliters of fog juice. And it has this nozzle right here that's going to be ideal for like that dry ice effect, okay? So now I can just press this little button right here, and I can just start laying down a little bit of that dry ice right around the product, like so. And then, of course, while we're recording that, I could tilt this camera down a little bit, and then I could switch over, and this is what the person would see as we're recording it. You know, you're going to see the bottom of the product. You're going to see the fog effect. Maybe you have another light going on in the background. You can take one of these small lights like you see here, this little RGB light, and it can add a little backlight to the fog. And it's so many cool things you can do with this. Or you could take something like one of these fog machines and just have like fog coming down on top of whatever it is that you're talking about. So as you guys can see there, I could just have this up high, and I could have this on a light stand, and I can just drop fog like that and just have it coming down on the product, you know, giving it that really cool, you know, smoky, foggy effect. And that could be great for like B-roll or something like that. So again, guys, you're only limited by your imaginations as to all of the cool things you can do with these devices. So if you guys have any questions whatsoever, drop those down in the comments. And that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for this afternoon, because I'm still hearing a lot of people asking me about these different products and how to use them, and they're not really sure what they need to do to get started. These are products, obviously, that I have at my disposal, but yes, all of these products were sent to me by these different brands, because I review tech and things like that. But I would honestly spend my own money on these products, guys. I'm telling you the truth about it. I would spend my own money for these cameras. A few of the Osbot cameras that I do have here in the studio, I don't really use them as much anymore, but I did pay for those cameras myself when I first started streaming, and I feel like still to this day it was a worthwhile investment because it did help get me started. So there you go. Now, of course, I, as a professional photographer, I have access to a lot of professional cameras and lenses and things like that. But I know a lot of people, are not in that industry, and they're just going to be starting off with something like maybe their phone or whatever the case is going to be. Now, I am, in the Apple ecosystem, so I use iPhones, but you can achieve a lot of the same things, guys, with an Android phone as well. So here is my iPhone 16 Pro Max. I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max, which is this guy here. And then we have the iPhone 15 Pro Max, which is this phone that I have on this gimbal that I'm using to show you guys different camera angles, okay? But let's say for instance, you only had the one phone. You only had the one phone or a phone or whatever it is, but you still wanted to be able to create content. You still want good audio. Yes, there's a path for you as well. Now, if you're interested in this specific phone, the iPhone 16 Pro Max, you can get this phone right here on Amazon right now. Just go ahead and check it out. Check it out down in the carousel. Let me see if I highlighted that guy for you. All right, so right now this phone is $1,074 if you guys want to check it out. All right, and the case on here is from our friends over at ESR. This is one of the rugged cases. Let me show it to you a little bit closer up. So this is a rugged case, and it is a two-piece case. It has like a soft foam liner inside. Then it has the harder outer shell. And this guy is great. It works with MagSafe, no problems. I've had no issues with it whatsoever. It's very durable, and it also has this little kick-out stand that you guys see here that you could use to set this up on a desk or something if you want to watch, Netflix or, Amazon Prime or, roam on Amazon Live. You can use your phone for that. Now, most of us are going to be talking about how can we use something like this in order to create content. So I would take a phone as an example, and then of course you want to have some way of holding the phone securely. So this little bracket that you guys see here, I just highlighted it down in the carousel. This is from a company called Coleman. This is the EX390, all metal. Now, of course, you will need a little tripod for this. Let me find our tripod. All right, so I have the tripod here. Let me take it off of this stick. All right, so here's the little tripod. We're just gonna pop this guy off. I don't even know if this is the right one that came with it, but it's basically the same thing. So you would just take the little tripod, and then you're just gonna mount that on here like so. And that's just gonna give you a way to sit the phone upright. So if you're gonna be using it to record yourself or record someone else or whatever the case it is. Now this bracket is adjustable, so you can bend it forward, bend it backwards, all that kind of stuff. And if you want to set this up on a desk, there you go. You can set it up in this 16:9, or you can rotate this guy and move it into your, you can move this into your 9:16. So if you wanted to create content, again, for Instagram or for TikTok or something like that, and you guys see how easily this sits on the desk, okay? Now, of course, You may want to connect this to a computer. I have done that many times in the past. In order to do that, you just got to have the right cable so that you can connect the phone. Now, if you're on an iPhone and you have a Mac, you won't need those cables because you can wirelessly connect the phone to your MacBook and, bring that into OBS or whatever streaming software you want to use or recording software you want to use. And yes, I do recommend looking into the exact same software you would live stream with as an option for creating content with as well, because you can set your encoding rate, meaning the resolution of the video that you're going to record. You can connect your microphone and everything like that to the computer, or record directly into the phone, or whatever the case it would be, right? So in this case, because I would want to connect this maybe to another device, I could use NDI. So there's a way that you can actually convert your phone to transmit an NDI signal, and you can receive that into the Talent. You can receive that also into OBS with the right type of setup. So you have a lot of options when it comes to that. But those cables that I have listed down there are primarily for me to use also for my drone controller. Whenever I want to stream and show the video source coming from the drone, I can always do that. So, you got a lot of flexibility, guys, when it comes to using this gear. It is totally up to you guys as to how you can, figure out exactly what's going to work best for you in your everyday scenario. So don't feel limited and don't feel overwhelmed, because a lot of this stuff, guys, you can learn it step by step. That's what I'm here for. If you have questions, that is my sole purpose for being live on these platforms, so I can walk you guys through this step by step, whether it's, something like how to configure the remote to control your Osbot cameras, how to connect your wireless microphones to these different cameras that you guys can take a look at, which, of course, a few of these are from Osbot. We looked at the Osbot Tail 2. We also looked at the Osbot smaller cameras here, the Osbot SE, which is this little guy right here. And right now you can get this here on Amazon for $99. This is a 1080p variant. The 4K version of this same camera you can get here on Amazon as well. This is this variant right here. And this one is $159. So it's a little bit more expensive, but it is a 4K camera, and you will be somewhat future-proofed if you decide to go with the 4K variant of this camera. All right. Let's see here. So let's keep rolling. We already talked about this little guy here, so let me just go ahead and highlight it and get it out of the way. This is the Meet 2. This is also a 4K camera. It has a half-inch sensor. It has the AI framing. Again, you can get this guy right now here on Amazon for $109. So that's another option. Anyway, back to the phone. You can connect wireless microphones to it. There's a variety of different wireless microphones available to you. These are from our friends over at Anker. These are the Anker M650 wireless microphones. You're going to get 2 omnidirectional microphones. You get the receiver. It also comes with the adapter. So if you're using one of the newer iPhones, it's going to be USB-C. If you're using one of the older ones, like my iPhone 14 Pro Max, you would use the Lightning connector there. You can have both of these on at the same time. So if you have a guest that you're interviewing, or whatever the case it may be, if you'd only have one person, then you can just use one microphone. These microphones can record internally. They can transmit up to 600 feet line of sight. The case itself is a charger case. Now, these microphones right here, let me find them in the carousel. These are currently $199.99 for the entire little bundle here. That's going to get you the microphones. It's going to get you the travel case, the little dead cats that come with it. All of those little replacement little covers come with it. When you first get these, they're going to have the black covers. Then they give you 2 other optional covers you can switch out. So there's a gold one, and there's also a purple one for the black variant. There's also a white variant of these as well. And again, like I said, you can get them here on Amazon, guys, for as little as $199. And you can connect them easily to your smartphone. I have been using these for a long time with my phones, just connecting them using the, I'll show you here. So we can just open up this USB. Now I haven't done it with this specific case, so I don't know if this is going to work with this case. I might have to take the phone out of the case because it may not be enough room for it to go all the way in, but this should clip in just like that. And then there you go. You have your receiver connected directly to your phone, and you'll be able to monitor the audio. If you're only using one microphone and you close the case, you'll only see the audio coming in from that one microphone. Now, I do recommend that you connect this receiver to the phone before you open your recording app, because sometimes, depending on the phone, the microphone may not be registered. So make sure you connect it first and then open the camera app, so you don't wind up shooting an entire video and then you have no audio. So, that's just a little pro tip to make sure that you troubleshoot that before it becomes a problem. But yeah, connecting a microphone to this could be a great option for a lot of people getting started. You can use the, high quality camera that's already built into your device. This is just going to make it so much easier for you to set everything up and just kind of roll with it. All right, so let's keep rolling. What else do we have here? Let's take a look at another camera that I have used a lot, and I actually use every single day, and that would be this camera right here. Now, this is from DJI. This is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. You can still find these here on Amazon. The creator combo right now is $979. It has gone up a little bit, but you get a lot of things. You get the microphone, you get the DJI Mic 2 with this. I've added a few accessories to this, like this little cage that you see here, but the bundle will come with, some other accessories like a battery, this connection piece right here. This is also a PTZ camera. This one, different than all the others we've looked at. They do have a monitor built right into this, so you can see what's going on. So let me go ahead and switch this guy around. And there we go. So you could have the camera facing whatever it is you're recording, or you can just tap on the screen, have the camera face you. It has face tracking, so it can follow your face. And some of these features are just going to be automatic. You just turn them on, and you can just walk around with your little selfie stick connected to it, and walk around and record yourself, like a news reporter, whatever you want to do, and then have really high quality audio being recorded directly into this camera. This camera right here, guys, is one of the cameras that I use for the most part, 99% of the time, to create content, to create shoppable videos. The way I showed you guys how these cameras are set up over here on this back desk, this is how I set this camera up if I'm just using one specific camera angle. Now, of course, this camera, I can also connect to the Talent, but in order to connect this camera to the Talent, I will have to use a USB cable to connect it to it, but it'll still work just as well. And, as long as you can keep the cable out of the shot, so, you don't lose the mystery of what it is you're recording, this camera is going to work just as well as those cameras back there that are wireless. Okay. Now, this guy can also do 4K, 60 frames a second. It can do slow motion, 120 frames a second. It has a lot of built-in features, including the fact that it comes with a microphone, which is going to make it really easy for a lot of you guys to set up really fast. Just, you can put this thing in your pocket. That's why it's called the Osmo Pocket 3. It fits in your pocket. And there's a variety of different things you can add to this, like ND filters, magnifying filters or lenses that you can put on here as well. This is a wonderful, wonderful little camera. And it also has a smartphone app, so you can quickly offload any video or content that you recorded into this guy. You can just, send it over to your phone, no problems there. And I used it basically that way. I'll record video, and then I will connect to this either with the cable to my MacBook, or if I'm going to do something quick like with my iPad to edit, I can just transfer the video straight from this device, airdrop it over to my iPhone or to my iPad, and I'm pretty much good to go. And like I said, this thing is really, really responsive. As you move it around, it is steadily tracking me. Even at this weird angle right here, it still has me in the frame. It can still see me. So it's going to keep trying to track you as best as possible. And you can also track other objects. You can track animals, whatever it is, draw a little box around them. So it has a bunch of built-in features, guys. People love this camera, and a lot of people just can't wait to get their hands on one of these. And it is a little bit more fragile than like an action camera or something like that, so you will have to take good care of it. It comes with a protective cover. I would recommend buying something a little bit better than that, just so you can really ensure the safety of your investment. There's a couple of cases that I have here that were sent to me recently. Let me see if I can grab one of these real quick. So I have some of these type of cases. I don't have this listed in the carousel, but you can find these over on my storefront, romeknowstech.live. And these rugged cases, you can put the camera in, and your SD cards. You can put your ND filters, your batteries, your tripod, all of your different accessories. It has a little pull foam, and this is also one of the waterproof cases. So if you go out in the wild, like some of us do, summertime, you're out there by the beach. Now, these are not waterproof cameras, so you cannot get this wet like a GoPro. But, if you're out in an environment, you don't really have to worry about, if you have your camera secured in one of those cases, that if it got wet or moist or something like that, you're pretty much good to go. Anyway, so this is the Osbot Pocket 3, which is another great option for any content creators out there. And like I said, I would set this up no different. Just to give you an idea, let's switch back over here real quick. So just like this camera is set up right now on the desk, usually this camera is the one that is on this little magic arm attached to my desk. And then I can sit right behind it where I can actually see the screen, and I can focus on whatever it is I want to talk about. And I can tell if something is in focus or out of focus. Now, you have to be careful. If your hand goes in front of the lens and you're really close, it will hunt for focus a little bit, but that's by design. It's just designed to do that, So, keep that in mind whenever you're creating content. Make sure you're giving yourself enough space where you can actually see what's going on, and also ensure that, you're not throwing your entire image out of focus. So, check that out. But anyway, that's kind of the setup. And again, you could still connect that to something like this Talent and still have multiple cameras set up and record directly into this device, especially if you're just trying to produce something 1080p. No worries there. Now, if you do need a higher resolution like 4K, you can just record internally to each one of the cameras, and then you will have to go into your, video editing software and then compile your, video and, cut between your different angles. But it's not really hard. That's very simple. If you guys want me to do a video on that, or a live stream showing you guys how I use Final Cut or other, software to be able to achieve the same thing, just let me know and I will make it happen. All right. So what do we got next? What do we have next? Let's see what we got next here in the carousel. I'm kind of jumping all over the place because I just really want you guys to really be able to see some of these different things that I have here in the studio, and why I personally feel like these are some of the best products to use. Yes, I admit it is true. Some of these were sent to me, or a lot of these actually were sent to me, but I would pay my own money for them, like this microphone right here. Now, you can purchase this microphone by itself. You can connect to this via Bluetooth to your smartphone, to your tablet, to your computer, to that camera back there. Or you can buy the full bundle where it comes with 2 of these microphones and also a receiver, just like what we looked at with the Anker M650, wireless microphone. So there is a version of this where it does come with a receiver, and it also comes with 2 of the microphones. But the one that I have listed in the carousel is just a single microphone by itself, and I think that's going to be enough for a lot of people, especially my sole creators. Now, I did also show you guys the little plastic cage that I have on the Pocket 3, which is this right here. Let's get a closer look at it so I can say you guys did see it. So that's this little cage that you see right here. Now, this has a magnet on the back, and you can kind of pop this little button down, and you can also use this as a stand to upright the camera. This has the little GoPro mounts on here as well. So if you have like some GoPro accessories, you could use that to mount this like on a harness or a vest or something like that. And then you can pop this guy back up. And like I said, anything metal this will stick to it, you know, because it's a magnet, you know. So if you're going to the gym or, you know, doing a cooking tutorial or something like that, or maybe you want to mount this up as a top-down camera, you can just have something metal above it, like a boom arm or something, and you could just have this camera mounted this way facing down at your desk. So you got a lot of flexibility, and it doesn't take anything away from it. You still have access to your SD card. You still have access to your joystick, your record button, your little lavalier, your lanyard connector is still available right here. So if you want to put a lanyard on here, and just in case you got fumble hands and you worry about dropping this guy, you could always have that lanyard on just in case, you know, you lose control of the camera. It's not going to go far from your hand. So, you know, you got all of that built in with this little guy. So definitely check it out. Rover's in the house. Welcome, Rover. Yeah! Welcome to the stream. All right, so what else do we have that we can take a look at today that is going to be good for content creators, live streamers, gamers, like my friend Rover? Jennifer Lude is in the house. Welcome, Jennifer Lude. Welcome to the stream. So another microphone that I do like, and it's from my friends over at Nearstream. Let me show you guys this microphone. Let me grab it. All right. So that would be this microphone that you guys see right here. Now, this does have an internal battery. You have a USB-C back here that you can plug this in to a computer, to something like the Osbot Talent, a YOLO box, whatever it is. It has an array of 8 microphones right here on the top. You have your different controls right here as well. And then on the back, you can plug in headphones so you can monitor the audio that's coming into this. Now, the way this will pretty much set up on your desk is kind of at this angle here so that your voice would be picked up from the microphone. So if I was looking at this from a side perspective, it would be something along the lines of this, perspective. You also have your directional pickups. You have a mute button built into this guy as well. And this is a very, very affordable microphone, guys. It is only $79 for this guy. And again, this is from our friends over at Nearstream. Now, Nearstream has come out with a lot of products over the year. They've come out with some webcams. They've come out with 2 versions of their webcams. I don't have this camera in the carousel today, but I'll show it to you real quick. Here is one of their webcams, and you guys can see a similar pattern here for the microphones that are built into this guy as well. So if you want to compare those two, you guys can see there, it's a similar type of microphone array. These are really good, and what's cool about these can work with NDI, and you do not have to pay for an NDI license. These come with NDI license already installed on the camera, and that is great for something like the Talent, where it can receive a wireless NDI signal. So this could be a top-mounted camera. It could be, a front-facing camera. It could be a wide-angle camera. So it has, optical, and it also has digital zoom built into this guy as well. Now, you will need the smartphone app to control a lot of the features to this. But if you already have this preset up, it's not going to be a big deal. You can just have this camera set up exactly how you want it, whatever angle, and then you can switch back and forth between the Talent to whatever camera source or angle you want to show in your stream or your recording or whatever the case it is. And that's going to be the same for almost any of these cameras, guys. All right, let's see what else we got. So we have something else from them as well. Let me show you. That could be a great option for a lot of people. Now, most of you guys who watch my live streams know I use this microphone right here. This is my Rode Procaster. Let me switch over so you guys can see it a little bit better. So this is my daily driver when it comes to microphones. This is my broadcast microphone. This is the Rode Procaster, and I do have this connected to the Rodecaster Pro 2. So if you guys are curious about where those sound effects come from, and that's this guy right here. I got my, my gain controls, all of my, creative features. This is plugged directly into my MacBook. You guys see it back there. So this is kind of how I have my audio and everything set up. I have my Stream Deck right here in front, which makes it really easy for me to switch back and forth between scenes, using OBS. I have a little small monitor here on my desk. so I can kind of see what all is going on at the same time. Right now, all of that said, to get to a point, this is a large setup if you want to try and take this out on location, okay? In comparison to something like this, which is a type of audio interface, and you guys can compare the two in size, you can see there's a significant difference in the size of these, okay? And it's going to be a significant difference in the price as well. But in some cases, you kind of get what you pay for. But even with that considered, this is going to be a great option for someone who is out doing things on location. This guy right here, this is battery powered. So you don't have to worry about, having this connected to any type of power source. You can use an XLR microphone like the one I'm using right now. It has phantom power. You can also plug in an instrument to this as well. So my guitar players out there, my bass players out there. You can also, connect this directly to a computer. You have DC input right here. This is a 5-volt, 1 amp input right here for charging this. It does have a battery. You have a headphone jack right here. You have a music input that could be from another device, using a 3.5 going into it as well. You have other inputs that you can bring into this. And like I said, this is battery powered. So you have the nice little light here. You have your headphone volume that you can adjust. You have your de-esser. You have your voice remover. You have your effect button right here for like your instrument or something like that. You have the other gain controls. And this is very, very portable, guys. I mean, if you think about it and you were comparing this to something like the Talent as an example. So if you had both of these set up on a desk, you guys can see right here, it's not going to take up a lot of space. It's going to be very travel friendly. You could have a more professional microphone set up and still have, the video capabilities, the live streaming capabilities, and you could do this pretty much anywhere you have access. If I set this down right here, you guys can see these could literally set right next to each other and still be able to control the audio and all that kind of stuff right from this one device. And I can switch camera angles anytime I want to. It's just a win, guys. It's a win. This is a very portable, compact, affordable solution for a lot of people out there. So definitely don't sleep on this guy. This is a worthwhile investment as well. Again, $79. $79. All right, so you guys have seen me talk a lot about the Osbot Talent because it is one of my favorite streaming encoders. It is literally one of my favorite, but this is not the only device like this on the market, guys. I'm going to show you another device that is an option for some of you, especially if you need a larger screen, and that is going to be our YOLObox Pro, okay? So here is the YOLObox Pro. Let me set this down in front of it. Let's move this phone out of the way so you guys can see the difference in the size of these two devices. Now with the Talent, you can connect 2 HDMI devices to this and 2 USB devices to this as well. With the YOLObox, you can actually connect 3 HDMI devices, 1 USB device. You have your Ethernet, you have HDMI out, you have USB out. You also have your line in, mic in, headphone jacks, and of course you have USB for charging it. Now this does have some other features other than the fact that it's a larger screen. You can also input a full-size SD card, just like with the Talent, but this one also has a SIM tray. So that means you can use a cellular data SIM card in here and use that for live streaming, okay? And the only thing else down here at the bottom is this little power button. This metal cage that you guys see here does not come with this unit. This is from a company called YC Onion, but you can find that over on my storefront. This is mostly rubberized housing on the device, so I did add this cage to protect it a little bit, as well as to lock down the cables. This Talent is all metal, where this one is not, but I don't think that's going to be a detractor either way, so you guys can see how easy it is to set something like this up. Now I can just scroll down, swipe down here, and wait for this to connect to my Wi-Fi, and then I can go in really simply here and create a live stream or content, because you could use this for a monitor, you could use it for a variety of different things, totally up to you. what you want to use it for, but you can also do both because you can record on all of these devices and live stream on them at the same time. Okay, so the YOLObox Pro is currently $998. Now, this is going to allow you to bring in a variety of different sources. We already talked about that. 3 HDMI, 1 USB. You can bring in local video files if you have an SD card already in, or even if you have, a hard drive connected to this. You can bring in things from a live stream with this guy as well. You also have the ability to bring in PDFs, images, and you can use NDI, guys. So there's the NDI. If there was an NDI camera on right now, is searching for it right now, it would find that NDI camera. Actually, let me turn on one of these cameras. Hold on. Where is my camera? All right, so this camera has NDI already enabled, so I'm just going to power this guy on, and it should turn on here in a second, and hopefully this will see the NDI from this camera, and I won't have to go through and configure anything. I'll be able to just select it, but we'll know here in a second. I'm waiting for my green light to let me know that this is on. Is it on? I think it's still trying to connect because the light's blinking. All right, let's see what happens. Let's give it a few seconds to connect, or I'll grab, yep, there we go. We got our green light, so we're good to go. And that lens is dirty, so let me clean that while I'm looking at it. That's close. I'm telling you guys, these lens cleaners are priceless. They are priceless. All right, so that's connected. So let's just set that guy over here. And let's see. So they should be on the same network. So let's try it again. And maybe it's not on the same network. I don't know if it's on the same network because I haven't turned that camera on like forever. So it's probably the YOLObox is not on the right network. But we're not going to go through all that. But anyway, as I said, you can connect NDIs to this as well. You can also live stream to up to 3 different destinations at the same time. You have your layers that you can bring in here. You can bring in image, overlays, lower thirds, countdown timer, graphics, titles, social media. All of these devices kind of follow that same theme. Another cool thing that you can do with this device, guys, is that you can actually live stream and bring in a guest. So let's say I wanted to invite, Jennifer Lude onto my stream. I could just, if I knew Jennifer Lude's email address, I could send her an email. I could bring her in, and she could come in on my live stream, guys, even just from a phone. Using her phone as the camera, using the built-in microphone from the phone, and then I would be able to add her to the live stream, set up a scene that is conducive to 2 people. You have your audio interface on this guy as well. You also have the ability to do scoreboards. So for my sports enthusiasts out there, you can set up scoreboards. You can give your teams graphics, all that kind of cool stuff. And you can control this in real time. So while the game is going on, you can be, advancing the score, which is super cool. You also have comments. Your comments can be displayed, and you can also determine how the comments are going to be displayed on your live stream, which is really nice. You also have the ability to auto switch between camera angles. So let's say you got multiple cameras connected to this, videos, other sources, but you want this to automatically switch between those at a certain interval. You'll be able to set that up with this device as well. So again, this is a very, very powerful device, guys. It's a few years old, but it is still a rock star, none the same. So if you guys are looking for, another type of device for live streaming, for creating content, for recording content, this could be a winner right here. All right, let's see what we got going on over here on the chat. Looks like we're at about 57K likes. All right, 57K likes, babies. That's a win. That's a win. All right, I would be remiss if I did not go ahead and mention this, even though I don't have it in the carousel. There is a smaller version of the YOLObox. This is the YOLObox Mini. It is very close to the same size as the Osbot Talent, but the only difference is you can only connect 2 cameras to this, or 2 devices, 1 HDMI and 1 USB, and you still have your HDMI out. But this is a very powerful, little reliable device. I've used this guy on multiple occasions. I have loaned this one out to friends, you know, who were doing projects and they needed to be able to record and stream those projects, and they were very, very happy with this device. One of my friends, I didn't think I was going to ever get this thing back because he did not want to stop using it. He loved this thing, guys. So, you know, there's another option for you to create content with. So just check that guy out as well. All right, let's see what else we got in the carousel. Make sure I didn't miss anything. So we did already take a look at my backdrop that I have here. I showed you guys that. Now you can get that here on Amazon for $219. That is this collapsible backdrop that you see here. The black is great, especially if you want to add lighting effects to it, or you have like some gobos, you want to, you know, put some special effects when you're doing any of your product videos and stuff like that. Trust me, that black backdrop really comes in handy. Now the light that I have there on my desk, you guys can see it back here. This is a tube light. You can get this guy here on Amazon right now for only $89. It does have a smartphone component, so you can actually control this light using a phone to adjust the different lighting frequencies, colors, RGB effects, some other type of cool effects you can do with this as well. Let me see if I can show you guys real quick. Let me set this gimbal up where it's kind of looking in the right direction. All right, so let me turn this light on. Give me a second. All right, so you guys should be able to see the blue light is on back there. And I'm gonna grab my phone. Let me grab my phone and I'll show you guys the app. So you can install this app on your iPhone. You can install this app on your Android phone. And let's just go in here really quickly and just do a couple of little light effects. So to show you guys what the app looks like, did that light turn off? Yeah, I think it did. Okay, so I turned the light back on because I can control it from the app. You guys see there's our app right there. We can control it. So I can go in here and I can change the color of the light to pretty much any color that I want to output, which comes in really super clutch, like I said, when you're doing any type of product videos. And this gives you a brightness control as well, so you can increase the brightness or decrease